chances are that at some point or another you've had to deal with issues with your self-esteem or confidence. The fact is, almost everyone struggles with it at some point, and in this video we look at how you can build your self-esteem. Self-esteem is critical in life, and it's your confidence in your own worth and abilities. When people struggle with self-esteem issues, they lack self-belief and self-respect, harboring doubts about their capabilities and heading into a downward spiral towards failure. The fact is, without self-esteem, it's difficult to achieve important objectives in life, as we lack the belief that we can actually achieve what we wish to. The kicker is that all of us face issues of self-esteem at one point or another, and it's not the fact that you may struggle with low self-esteem that's of vital importance, but rather how you react in those moments when you feel low self-esteem. So in this video, we look at how you can build your self-esteem and really fulfill on your ambitions in life without letting insecurities and hesitations hold you back. Number 1. Understand self-esteem. Why do we feel low self-esteem to begin with? Self-esteem is inherently dependent on how much value you think you bring to the world, and more specifically, to others. We often identify our self-worth in how we are perceived by others, meaning if we work hard on something and it's rejected, our self-worth, and thus self-esteem, goes down. For example, it takes quite a bit of time to research, prepare, create and release a video on YouTube, and if it's rejected, that's painful. Not just for me, but for any YouTuber out there, regardless of size and success. This process of dependency on the opinions of others naturally makes self-esteem unstable, as we lack control over our self-esteem. And in a world where we have social media dominating our lives, and people having the anonymity to say some incredibly hurtful things without serious repercussions, our self-esteem can take a huge knock if we let it. The key to building self-esteem, and specifically making it stable, is to take control and not let outside opinions dominate your self-esteem. This actually helps to build your locus of control, the feeling of control over situations and experiences in your life, which naturally helps you feel more confident and happier about your life. After all, brain scan studies have demonstrated that when our self-esteem is higher, we are likely to feel less pain when we experience common emotional wounds, such as rejection and failure, allowing us to bounce back from them more quickly. When our self-esteem is higher, we are also less vulnerable to anxiety, as we release less cortisol, the stress hormone, into our bloodstream when under stress, and it is less likely to stay in our system. The other factor to understand about self-esteem is that it's important to maintain a balance. High self-esteem is good, but if it's too high, then it can make you emotionally brittle. This means that in most circumstances, you might feel good about yourself, but in the few moments when your self-esteem takes a knock, it can have a devastating effect and can stunt psychological self-growth. Instead, building self-esteem and maintaining a little humility in acknowledging where you can improve is the ideal balance, as in this situation you don't lack belief in yourself, but appreciate that there's always room to grow and improve. So, what actions can you take to build self-esteem? Number 2. Use positive affirmations. Saying positive affirmations can be an amazing way to build your confidence and self-esteem. The biggest issue is that a lot of people tend to say them incorrectly. You see, affirmations are built on self-belief, or how much you believe in the affirmations you are saying. Therefore, you might be told to say an affirmation such as, "I am going to be a huge success." But unless you totally believe and buy into what you are saying, it won't work to benefit you. In fact, saying such an affirmation when you lack self-esteem is likely to be counterproductive, as you're trying to believe in something you simply don't feel to be true. Therefore, this process of acknowledging where you are is far away from where you think you should be, and is actually going to make you feel worse and be more damaging to your self-esteem. If that's the case, How can you use affirmations to work in a positive way to help you grow your self-esteem? The key is to reframe the affirmation to be in line with what you believe. So whereas you might not believe the affirmation where you say, "I am going to be a huge success," you can absolutely commit and believe in saying the affirmation, "I will not give up and keep working until the end." The key difference with this affirmation is that it doesn't commit to an unknown that you know may not be true in the future. Instead, it focuses on areas where you can take action today. The commitment to not giving up, regardless of whether you find success or not. When you say this, you know that you have control over your commitment, and therefore your belief is not only true, but guaranteed as long as you don't fail to take action. Number 3. Identify your competencies. Our self-esteem is directly linked to our ability to perform and achieve in areas of our lives that we consider of importance to us. On a professional level, a chef's self-esteem is linked to their ability to cook tasty dishes. One of the things you need to do to grow your self-esteem is to identify areas of your life that you consider important and understand where your strengths and abilities are in these areas. When you have defined skills and attributes you might consider your competencies, double down and focus on these. The perfect example of someone who has done this in his life is Gary Vaynerchuk. When young, he struggled in school, something he acknowledged that many immigrants, like himself, considered of vital importance in their life and career. However, he identified his competencies, which came in business and understanding how to invest and sell for significant profit, and doubled down in this. Initially, this was in buying and selling baseball cards, or buying things at a garage sale to sell later on. From here, he developed and honed his business acumen in his father's wine business, where he identified the potential of online marketing and again doubled down in areas he felt were his competencies. From there, he's moved on to building his own businesses, notably VaynerMedia, which have had massive success. The reality is that had Gary Vaynerchuk chosen to only focus on his studies, as most young people do, his self-esteem would be nowhere near where it is today, and consequently, his level of success would be noticeably less. The man himself acknowledges the importance of identifying competencies, often stating it's arguably the most important thing in life, using the term self-awareness. Number 4. Accept compliments. When you have negative feelings about yourself and therefore lack self-esteem, one of the hardest things to do is accept compliments of others. More often than not, you'll find that you are dismissive of what people say and even resistant to them saying positive things about you. The reason is similar to affirmations. If you don't believe in them, then you'll resist them. This might be to ignore the compliment, dismiss the compliment as you think that there's some other agenda for people saying them, or worst of all, you outright reject them, instead spinning it to being something negative or saying that you don't believe them to be true. The truth is, when we lack self-esteem, it's the time we most need compliments to actually feel better about ourselves. So rather than resisting compliments when you get them, try to acknowledge and appreciate them. It won't be easy, and if anything, it will be extremely hard and uncomfortable, but doing so is for your benefit. Start off by simply accepting compliments on the occasions when you get them. It might be as simple as saying thank you, but doing so will help reduce impulses to reject them, over time resulting in them going away. The next step is to build references as to why they are true. This is done in a few ways, by first identifying reasons as to why the compliment is true, and secondly removing doubts about why someone might give them. For example, if someone compliments you on a bit of work, identify why that compliment is justified in your work. Was it of good quality? How can it benefit others? And is it something of value going forward? By answering questions like these, you build references as to why you earned the compliment and it was justifiably deserved. Next, identify why the person gave you the compliment. Many of us naturally might believe we receive a compliment because the other person is hoping to get something out of it or something in return. While true on occasion, in a lot of cases people want to just acknowledge and show appreciation for something you did. Learn to accept this as a possibility, especially if it's hard to see any other reason as to why this might not be the case, as often so-called hidden agendas are actually quite clear to spot. Number 5. Remove self-criticism and have self-compassion. We've already touched on this, but when we lack self-esteem, we have a natural tendency to be more self-critical. This act can actually be highly damaging and leads to a downward spiral which compounds over time. However, if you want to improve self-esteem, you've already taken the first step to combating this issue. The next step is to identify triggers or points when negative self-talk begins. For example, this might be you find when you think about a specific topic, it causes you to feel worse about yourself. When you identify the triggers, you need to then turn negative self-talk into more compassionate talk. That means rather than focusing on what you think you are bad on, instead think about more encouraging ways to think about the subject. For example, let's say you struggle with drawing. You can either say something destructive, like "I'm not good at drawing," which will obviously bring down your self-esteem, or alternatively, phrase it in a way that's productive, such as "This drawing didn't turn out as intended, but it's a skill I will commit to learning and improving." The point is, be compassionate in a way that's truthful, both in acknowledging why you aren't happy with something, but also the reality that it's something you can improve. Number 6. Be real. When you have low self-esteem, it's easy to focus on your weaknesses and fail to acknowledge your strengths. Doing this does nothing to benefit you, nor is it the truth when objectively viewing yourself. The key is to be more objective, focusing on what the reality is. But how do you do this? Try to do an exercise where you list your qualities on a piece of paper, remembering the key is objectivity when doing the exercise. For example, if you got rejected for a job or promotion, list the qualities that you think made you a good fit for the job. This might be your work ethic, commitment to the work being done, ability to take responsibility, or willingness to learn new skills. Yes, you got rejected, but that doesn't mean that you lack the ability. Once you put your list together, try to write a paragraph or even a short essay on why these points are true and in turn how they'll benefit a future employer. Doing this is a process of reaffirming your qualities and strengths, and at the same time you are acknowledging the fact that a rejection doesn't stop this from being true. You can also build from it, identifying areas where you can improve and planning how you're going to commit to improving. The fact is, improving self-esteem requires work, as it involves a process of developing and maintaining healthier emotional habits. However, commit to building your self-esteem, as while it requires an investment on your part, it's an investment that can be of great benefit in your life. Are you committed to building your self-esteem? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Please consider sharing this video with other people, as we hope to help people live life on their terms by providing practical advice through inspiring content. Thanks for watching.